Linkara's gonna teach you all a lesson you won't learn. Rusty, you're not the smartest. Life's bound, you're not an artist. Anyone who's had a bad comic published, it could be your turn. Linkara, he is a man, punch, wears a dirty hat. Linkara, he has a magic gun. Where do you purchase that? Linkara. Boys, robots, Amazon, trust Linkara. This comic sucks. Linkara.
And I'll play the theme song actually afterwards because I just realized that I forgot to set that up first. But and yeah, for those of you who missed the blog post, unfortunately the new episode I couldn't get it finished before now, so it will premiere on Tuesday morning on the blog. All right, ready?
Yeah.
Taka, hit the lights. Taka, hit the lights. Over to your left. Your left, damn it! I thought those were the lights right there.
You could sing the theme song after that.
We don't know what it is.
Just shoot out the lights.
Let's do it again. Don't fire through that there are no light switches.
Oh, there we go. Thank you, sir. Oh, that's good. Next one down.
There.
Yup, that'll work. Man, right here only caring for the lights. We're ready to begin here. Hello and welcome to Power of Atop the Fourth Wall Live! If this is your first time seeing Atop the Fourth Wall in live or recorded form, well, you're probably at the wrong panel. Don't worry, it's a common mistake. Unfortunately, all the exits are now being guarded and there is no escape. I'm just gonna sit here and laugh since this artificially inflates the amount of people I can say watch my stuff. Anyway, as you may have noticed, I am reading from a script, so I apologize in advance if I stutter or slur my words. And I know people can get excited during these live shows and want to throw out their own jokes, but just remember, I'm recording this. So if your comments are not funny, then you're being not funny in front of thousands of people.
All right.
And if you know Thank you, Taka. And if you know anything about internet comment systems, you know what will happen.
First.
Well, Pokémon X and Y have been out for a while, and I'm hoping that people are enjoying them.
Yeah!
I know personally, I'm addicted to the Wonder Trade feature, and I'm already planning my second playthrough.
Me
But
too.
of course, it's always important to remember our roots. The early days of the Pokemans. The days of Pokegod rumors, of the missing no trick, and of course, of the utter pants-crapping creepypastas about Lavender Town's music. And because Halloween just happened and I'm still in a spooky spirit, let us venture into Pokémon Adventures! Specifically, we're looking at the Lavender Town issues. Now, just for a warning, I have no real background or knowledge of the Pokemon Adventure series, so things will probably confuse me, or I'll make joking references that won't match up with what actually happened. If you feel that I have made a mistake in that regard, just remember one important thing about such issues. I really do not care. Also, this cover is probably not the one for this chapter. I just grabbed this off of Google Images because I couldn't find the right one. So let us begin the spooky activities in Lavender Town with Chapter 13, Psy for Psyduck. Because there's nothing scarier than a Psyduck. We see our main character, Red, back before he had that makeover for Leaf Green and Fire Red, and he looks slightly more like Ash. He also apparently doesn't know how Pokeballs work, since all of his team are running out in the rain with him.
We gotta find some place out of this rain.
Man, if only there were some kind of structures that existed one could go inside of to avoid rain. I mean, I suppose you could just turn around and see such things, but nah, turning around would be too much work. Also, I'm curious why the Poliwhirl is there is upset, seeing as it's, you know, a water type. Since I guess in the Adventures universe there's no such thing as a Pokemon Center, Red tries to get the attention of citizens and ask for help, but they all ignore him. Geez, is this Lavender Town or Leave 'em There Town? Bit of a stretch there with the joke, Red. Or should I call you Reed? Red gasps as someone talks to him unexpectedly. Slaves to their suspicions, that's what they've become. They suspect that they might be here to turn our sacred Pokemon Tower into some kind of radio tower, but that would just be silly. And wait, he's behind Red, except that's where all his Pokemon were. Does that mean all his Pokemon have combined together to create an old man? So here's the old man, who talks despite having no mouth or nose. Perhaps he's a Jigglypuff in disguise. Anyway, he's here to pay his respects to this tiny grave that just happened to be right in front of Red that he didn't notice. He lived to a ripe old age, my beloved Pokemon, but his time came at last. According to the writing on the gravestone, it was a Doduo. Doduo have two heads, but you're referring to it as one, so do Doduo share a single brain, or is one of the heads still alive? Red, naturally feeling sad about the dead Pokemon, gives a little prayer, and the sound effect is VIP. So, praying makes you a very important person? Or is he praying that that old Pamela Anderson TV show VIP would come back? The old man invites him to have something warm to drink at his house, and I just realized that it's still raining. The old man decided to check the grave in the middle of a heavy rainstorm, and Red just put himself down in the wet mud. Where the hell are all his Pokemon?
Magic.
Anyway, the old man is Mr. Fuji, that nice dude in the original game who went to stop Team Rocket in the Pokemon Tower, but we had to save his ass because, well, we're the hero. He talks about the tower and how it's a big cemetery for Pokemon. And naturally, they decided to make their cemetery their local tourist attraction, since the tower is the biggest thing in Lavender Town. I'd love to have been at the city council meeting where they proposed that. Unfortunately, nobody goes into the tower anymore. It seems that ghosts have overrun the place. Now, you might be wondering why the people wouldn't just realize they're ghost-type Pokemon, but remember, this is the early days of the games. The entire reason you were sent out was to fill out the Pokedex because nobody knows anything about these things. Hell, they probably believe that the buried alive creepypasta is real. Red is incredulous about the idea, but Mr. Fuji further explains that the people have become so terrified of ghosts that they've forgotten how to trust one another. What? Do they think the ghosts are sending out ghost spies among the population? How the hell does that work?
Weird.
Well, see, first they have a great big ghost council.
Looking through a bunch of photos, he realizes just how much Mr. Fuji cared about his poor Doduo. But then he comes across a picture of Blue, because for some reason Mr. Fuji decided to take a photo of himself with a guy who frequently ends conversations with "smell you later." When Blue was told about the ghosts, he also laughed it off and made a run for the tower 2 weeks previously. But recently, nobody who enters the tower leaves. So yeah, 2 weeks without food or water, he's probably dead now. And probably gonna become a Yamask. Seriously, does anyone read all the Pokedex entries? The Pokemon writers are messed up. Realizing that Blue doesn't get defeated easily, so whatever did this to Blue could be dangerous. Which is why Red immediately charges toward the place, especially with the sound effect of glare! Red used mean look. It's not very effective. And so Red enters the tower and begins looking around the creepy environment filled with tombstones. Actually, here's a thought. How bad is Lavender Town at treating their Pokemon that they require an entire tower devoted to dead ones? I mean, if you see it in the games, it's a pretty small town, yet there are like hundreds of tombstones. I'm just saying. In the foggy darkness, Red spots a Psyduck! Oh, God! Is that a Pokemon? Yeah, right, believe it or not, it is. More apparitions appear, including a Slowbro, a Tangela, and what appears to be a Squirtle. And because this wouldn't be a horror-themed review, here's your Nightmare Fuel!
Oh, come on! That's terrible.
They could make a Psyduck scary, did ya? Then you make it a soulless abomination with no eyes and teeth, and suddenly you realize why the thing has a headache. From the longer shot, we see the Psyduck is just a head on a skeleton. Why aren't there more creepypastas about this thing? Red sends out his Bulbasaur, which uses Razor Leaf.
Not very
and
effective.
Razor Leaf is legitimately a razor in this case because the leaves become embedded in Psyduck's head.
It's super effective.
The Psyduck's body has also returned for some reason. However, the Psyduck then seems to run away in that bottom panel. Guess the Razor Leaf fixed the headache. Bulbasaur then tries to use sleep powder, but that doesn't knock them out either. Don't you love how all the ghosts have the black eyeless sockets just staring out? Pokemon writers sure love creeping us all the hell out, don't they?
No kidding.
The children of Zalgo. Children of Zalgo.
Oh, the Lickitung there too. Let's see. Unfortunately, it seems that the Razor Leaf fell out of Psyduck's head because now it leaps through the air at Red, mouth out wide. Fortunately, Bulbasaur uses Vine Whip to repel it. However, the Psyduck's body begins rotting away. It's just an empty body, but what was making it move? So whatever ghostly force is behind this was using actual dead bodies, I'd be horrified about that, except I'm more tilting my head about where they got the dead bodies. I assumed the headstones were just, well, headstones. Are all the dead Pokemon just put under the floor?
It's the Hall of the Dead.
Red wonders who's controlling the things as more fog and mist enters the room. So, trying to mystify me, eh? Oh, Red, you just saw a rotting corpse. They make a run for it. But then realizes the Poké Corpses aren't pursuing them. In fact, they're not leaving the fog. So, there's your Pokemon and Silent Hill crossover, kids. The purple haze is what's controlling those zombies. Wow, purple haze in their brains. You know, lately things just don't seem the same. Acting funny, but I don't know why. Excuse me while I kiss the sky. Before he can use this knowledge to his advantage, I just lost my place suddenly. A fireball shoots out and almost hits Red. And out of the mist walks Blue! You're okay! I never thought I'd be glad to say that. I was hoping you were a desiccated corpse so I wouldn't have to deal with you later. However, we end Chapter 13 with the reveal of Blue and his Charmeleon as white-eyed and therefore under the control of the ghosts. What, no lack of eyes whatsoever? Or are we saving that for the adaptation of Pokemon Lost Silver? Yeah, like half of you are like, what the hell is he talking about?
We call it Lost Blue.
And now with Chapter 14, That Awful Arbok. Getting a are starting to sound like sitcom names. Next thing you know, we're going to have Everybody Loves Electros. Or How I Met Your Mistrevis.
Blue, talk to me, dude.
Smell you later. Sister, give town map only to me. Charmeleon attacks and Bulbasaur manages to restrain it with his Vine Whip, further proving the awesomeness of Bulbasaur, if I might say.
We can't fight each other. We've got to learn who's behind it.
Okay, Red, you do realize we might like every time... Okay, Red, you do realize we fight like every time we encounter each other, right? I remember we were in the middle of fighting Team Rocket at the Silph Company and I still challenged you. I'm kind of an asshole.
There's only one Pokemon I know who can take over bodies like this.
Actually, I can probably think of about half a dozen from Generation 1 who could probably do it, not the least of which is Hypno, which was already a Pokemon that was creepy as hell.
One gas-type Pokemon with the power of Psychokinesis. Ghastly!
Okay, a few things. One, his Pokedex entry defines him as the gas Pokemon, not gas type, which is not a real type. Two, he does not have psychokinetic powers, and in fact, its secondary type is poison, so it's weak to psychic abilities. Ugh, what a terrible adaptation of the game. Boo! 0 out of 10! Anyway, Bulbasaur tries to attack the Ghastly with Razor Leaf, but they pass right through him.
Ghastly's made of gas. The Razor Leaves go right through it.
No, really?
Actually, I'm kind of surprised the games don't work like this. Normal and fighting type moves don't work on ghost type Pokemon, but personally, I don't think any physical type move should work on them. So fine, Pokemon Adventures, I'll give you that one. 1 out of 10. But you better not pull anything else completely ridiculous and out of nowhere, or I'll give you a -1 out of 10 for not being exactly the same as the games in every single way.
Continuity?
In fact, why is Red talking?
Continuity much?
Blue has Charmeleon start a fire spin. Oh, sorry, did I do that? Yeah. But all the surrounding wind and flames gets absorbed away, including parts of Ghastly. What's responsible? Bulbasaur, of course! Basically, he's using the bulb on its back to absorb everything, much like how it'd absorb energy for a solar beam. And that, my friends, further proves the awesomeness of Bulbasaur and why I always have one on my team and give him an Everstone so he won't evolve. Team Bulbasaur all the way!
Bulbasaur!
Bulbasaur! You thought that plant on its back could only spurt things out? You ain't seed nothing yet!
You're not even trying anymore.
Okay, I'd comment on the pun, but why the Mario wah there? Ghastly is defeated, but we're not done yet as Blue wakes up. Blue thanks Red, but he's not done yet. They start climbing the tower to find the one responsible for all of this. Granny Goodness!
I should have known.
No, actually, it's even more ridiculous than that. It's Koga. Yeah, Koga, the poison-type gym leader from Fuchsia City. I am one of Team Rocket's elite triad, Ninja Koga. Yep, in this continuity, Koga is actually a member of Team Rocket. And yes, he still becomes a member of the Elite Four when the gold and silver stuff comes around. What? Wouldn't you think a team of evildoers could just build a base without all these annoying interruptions? You mean this tower? It's perfect for us, since the simple townsfolk blame everything suspicious on ghosts. Yes, your ingenious plan of hiding Team Rocket's presence here by making a big commotion and draw more attention to the place through the prevalence of ghosts and trouble that would eventually attract the police, paranormal investigators, strong trainers, and the Ghostbusters Kanto Division. This was a good plan.
Who you gonna call?
One of their better plans.
It's seems that Koga here is actually an illusion, and he's controlling his Pokemon from a distance. Which makes me wonder where the hell all the other members of Team Rocket are. If they're using this place for a base, where is everybody? Koga unleashes an Arbok on the two, who quickly flee. So you climbed up all this way, and now you're running. Blue, you're an asshole. Well, actually, he's an asshole, but he's smart and comes up with a plan. He has Charmeleon cast Reflect. Koga has Arbok use an acid attack, shattering the Reflect. But then it turns out the Reflect had been put over one of the zombie Pokemon, something Koga would have been able to see if he had been there, but since he's using a little remote control doohickey, it's not good enough. So what does Blue have Charmeleon do? He slices Arbok in half. Seriously, look at that! Look at it!
Oh my god, man!
He used cut.
Pokemon don't die, they faint!
Oh my god!
Except for Arbok. They get sliced in frickin' half! So does he need like 2 Pokeballs now? I have so many questions.
Oh, wait. So
Mount that over your wall.
Ooh, this Blue is good. Not that I'll ever tell him that, or else he might chop me up Texas Chainsaw style.
that blue as opposed to the other blue? It's like this blue.
More like black and
And outside the tower, Koga swears revenge. Man, that poor Golbat he's hanging on to. Dude's got to weigh at least 150 pounds, and he's that high up. Now remember how a Golbat flies. And so our story ends with Red continuing on his way after saying something nice about Blue. And still none of his Pokemon are in balls, meaning Pikachu and Poliwhirl's kind of decided to stay out of this one for fear of being sliced in half. Which is now a legitimate reason to be afraid in this universe. Anyway, bizarre choices of outright slaughtering Pokemon aside, this was pretty good. Nicely frightening in places, and for someone like me who's only used to the anime and the games, seeing plot twists and how the gym leaders interact, especially the original ones, is very cool. That's all I got, so thank you everybody!